In this lesson, we'll apply some material attributes to our model. Alright, so we've got everything taken care of pretty much. I can come in here, I can adjust things, everything's going to stay in place. I can adjust my height, and I have these shelves that automatically appear, which is some pretty powerful stuff. When you think about modeling, a lot of what we know is just basic 2D geometry or 3D geometry, really with no information or any kind of behaviors associated with it. But you should give yourself a pat on the back. You can now create geometry that has behaviors, parameters, and things like that associated with it. So last but not least, before we finish out our design problem, I'm going to go ahead and apply some color to this. So we're going to go ahead and go to your paint bucket here. Now, when you're applying material attributes, you almost want to have some swatches or some little rectangles in your model, even set aside on some other geometry. The key is having those colors inside the model so that SketchUp can access what's in your model from wherever it needs to get it to put it into our list. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So for ours, I have one option. I want a cherry wood option, and I want a red, black, and a white. So for me, I'm going to go ahead and go pick my first one. I'm going to say wood. I'm going to say cherry wood, and I'm going to go ahead and paint it my original color. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and create, just a couple of other swatches for the red, black, and the white. And you can hide these later if you want to, but the main thing is just having it in your project. So go ahead and get your paint bucket again. We're going to go to colors. And you can go to colors named, or you could go to just regular colors here. And then it's going to reference them. So I want to go with, if you go with colors, it won't have the name, so it'll just say the numbers. So I'm going to go with named. So my first one, I'm going to go with black. So I'm going to grab my black. I'm going to paint that black. Oops. And then I want to go back, make sure we go back to colors named here. I want red. So I'm going to grab that red. And then I want white. And white is probably closer down here to the bottom. There it is. So now we have pretty much all our options, 1, 2, 3, 4, within our project here, right? So now what we can do, I'm going to keep this open because I'm going to use this as a reference in just a little bit. I'm just going to right click on our component here. I'm going to expose its attributes. And I'm going to come over here to our material, and you can already see the material we originally applied. So go ahead and click on there and expose that details box. Click on your details box, switch to where users can select from a list. Now we have material, and now I can say my first one. I'm going to say cherry wood. Now the key here is to make sure your value is exactly what's referenced within here. So if you keep your paint bucket open, click on your home here and go to what's in the model. Now just click on my cherry wood, and now instead of trying to worry about trying to copy exactly or type exactly what I see, I'm just going to highlight it, Control C, and this value here, Control V, tab it to accept it. So that's my cherry wood. Now I'm going to go white. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to go with the white that's in my project. Highlight it, Control C, come back over here, highlight, Control V, tab, and drop it in. So we'll do the same thing for red. Red in the model, it's this one. Control C, highlight, Control V, tab, and it's in there. And last but not least, we'll add our black one in there. I'm going to say black, tab, and I'm going to come over here and look for the black paint, this color. Go ahead and highlight that, Control C, in your box, highlight black, Control V, hit tab a couple of times, and now we're in good shape. Hit apply, and now we should be able to access this up here. So I'm going to go back to Windows, we'll say component options. So now I have my cherry wood. I can come over here, I can say I want white, apply, white. I want red, apply, red. I want black, apply, black. So we're in pretty good shape. Pretty cool stuff, huh? So now let's go ahead and solve our design problem here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring back my section. I'm just going to draw a section window here real quick. We'll go ahead and move it as well. Up. Just highlight your section. So we'll move it to where it goes inside our building. And now I can grab my component, go to move, grab this guy and bring him over here. Oh, looks like he kind of floated away. Let's rotate him first because we want him to fit flush in there. So I'm going to say rotate. So we'll rotate him about this axis here, 90 degrees. And now I can move it and place it exactly where it needs to go. So I want to grab this component at that corner. We can now place it in each space and then adjust our parameters. So we'll come back in here, place it in there. Now with this particular component, I can right click it. I'm going to go ahead and adjust its parameters. So we could say component options. So I like actually we're good on height, but let's see what this looks like with a different color. So we want this one to maybe be our red. So I'm going to say apply. And boom, there we go. So now I could take this same component, Control C, Control V, bring it over here. And I'm just going to grab it at its corner, place it over here. It can get a little tricky trying to drop it in. Just grab it that corner and snap her in place. Now what we need to do, if you right click this component, we want to make it unique because we copied off of this component. We don't want this one to change. So go ahead and go make unique. Right click it again, come to its options. And now, let's say we want a different color here. This one we want the cherry wood. We want the width to be 180. Say apply. But we want that height to actually be up to the 10 feet. So we can cover up that whole wall. So now I can close out of this and we can back out and check this out. Pretty cool stuff. So we can have stuff sitting on top of here in this area for this particular space. We can have all our books in this area. So let's go ahead and finish off that last option. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my section box here. I'm going to right click and we're going to reverse it so we can see inside the model in this area. Well, before we do that, let's go ahead and grab our component. So we'll grab this one. I'm going to say Control C, Control V. We'll kind of bring them out of our work area here. And now we'll just hit, and it disappeared because we're kind of behind this section. It'll reappear once we get out of the section here. So go ahead and double click on that. Right click, reverse, and you should see your component appear. So now I'm going to grab this component and then we can just place it wherever we need to within this area. So let's go ahead and flip this one really quick. So I'm going to grab it, rotate it about this axis. And we want to flip this one 180. So now I can grab it at any one of its corners. Right about in here. Sometimes you got to get in as close as you can. And then we'll come right back out. We'll drop right back into our model area here. I can see we've got some adjusting we're going to need to do. Grab him one more time here. Perfect. So now I'm going to grab him, right click. We're going to make him unique so it doesn't adjust our other one. So I'm going to right click. I'm going to expose my options. So this one, I might want it to be white. I might want a width of, we'll say that width, or a height of that height. We'll say the width needs to be 120. Click apply and it should fit in there really nicely. So we'll say our height 120, 120, and everything's looking really good. So now I can kind of come out here. We can get rid of our section. And now we've solved our design problem here. And not only that, we have an initial option, a design option, so we can have this type of a shelving arrangement. Or we can play around with the color and make additional adjustments to our model if we need to, if our client wants us to make additional changes. I'm going to jump to a different look here so we can kind of see what we're working with. Go to View, Face Style, we'll go to X-Ray so we can kind of see inside our model. So there we go. We created one component that's very flexible and dynamic, and we're able to kind of solve a design problem for this project by creating different versions and different styles and different design options. The great thing is we can share this with others and we can also use this in other projects. So I'm really excited to be able to show this and share this with you. This should take your modeling to the next level. So you shouldn't keep playing and keep experimenting with more complex things. You can almost take these elements, the sides are like walls, the shelf is like a floor, the top is like a roof. You can almost create a dynamic building model with this. So I definitely challenge you to try to take it one extra level and increase the scale with your knowledge and use what you've learned with this simple bookcase design problem and apply it to some larger scale issues. So again, this is Dynamic Components in SketchUp. Super happy to be able to show you this. I know I was excited when I learned it, and I hope you feel the same way. And I look forward to working with you in our future SketchUp courses. So take care, and thank you again.